Hello and good morning, my friends. Welcome to Thursday. I don't know about you guys, but I got up this week and was very disorientated on what I needed to do, what day it was. It was kind of crazy. Then, after some clarity, I realized, oh yeah, retrograde. Everyone's favorite time. And that's what we're going to explore today. Mercury is going into retrograde in now hours. It's going to be as of tomorrow. And yeah, it's hard. However, like any other challenge, once accepted, we can overcome it. So for this reading, I'm going to use, and it doesn't come up in camera all that well because of how high contrast it is, but this is the Wild Unknown Tarot. This is a fantastic black or white deck. It does have some color, lots of color, but it really highlights Mercury retrograde well because a lot of times things become black or white for us, and it is really easy to miss that splotch of color. And then I am pairing it. This is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. I think we're going to need some love and care here. All right, let's get into this. What can my friends expect for Mercury retrograde in September and October of 2022? And yes, it does start in September and we go direct October 2nd. So it's a chunk of time here. Now, if you saw yesterday's reading, you would have seen that, yes, the full moon does not. Okay, so how it works is Mercury retrograde pretty much encompasses the full moon, but the full moon does not encompass Mercury retrograde. So that's why I made sure I had a full moon reading and then a specific Mercury retrograde. The Six of Cups. And again, I love how the roots have that splurge of color. Because things are going to be challenging, we know that. I have done readings for the week ahead last Friday, and it said it was going to be challenging. And I knew that the transition into Mercury going into retrograde was going to be a bit bumpy. It was confirmed yesterday again with the full moon reading. So it's going to be super easy to A, become destabilized, and B, miss some of the beauty and wonder that is going to be offered during pretty much the month of September. We also have like the fall equinox in there. There's a lot of beauty. There's a lot of joy and happiness that can and should be embraced during September. So the Six of Cups reminds us that yes, we have done this before. And yes, we're going to do it again. However, we can be a little bit mindful, especially right now, as to what tools we found effective, what tools were maybe not so effective. Then we can use our creativity to make them possibly more effective. Create things that are going to be really supportive for us right here and right now. Please remember, guys, this is a 6. It means balance. We can't get hyper-focused in the past. We don't want to get caught up on challenges and what pain that brought us. We're looking at how we overcame things. What tools did we use? What worked? We want to incorporate that into here and now rather than bringing up a lot of pain and a lot of, well, uncertainty. Oh, should have turned the card. 3 of Swords. It's there. Let's be honest. It's always there. It's not like it's like a hidden, oh, that's a surprise. We've been through the ringer. And we've been through the ringer a number of times. It's kind of like a rinse and repeat, if you will, through lifetimes. There's a lot of pain that we're carrying. We're carrying pain on our genetic timelines, whether it be familial, whether it be an astral family situation. We've got lots going on. The important part is to be mindful of it. We don't want to tackle it right now, but we need to be mindful of it. We don't want it to overwhelm us because, let's be honest, we're already going to be struggling because Mercury's in retrograde. So that means our communication is off, whether that be through technology or in person. I'd like to take this time right now as a service note. Any technical issues I have, I apologize in advance. So we know that communication's off. And we know that a lot of people around us are going to be reactive, which puts us in a reactive space, which isn't helpful. And it just really digs those swords in deeper. So we need to be careful of that, mindful of it. We don't want to avoid it. We just need to be aware of it and be present. So when someone is being reactive, we can take that breath and go, okay, they're struggling right now. What tools do I need to use? We want to stay up here in that frontal part of our brain so that we're able to process things, so we're able to create solutions rather than bring in more problem. The 10. See, this is a fun deck, but it's sometimes hard to get up on camera. The 10 of Wands. On top of the pain, we have that burden. Again, we're carrying a lot of it. Those expectations, those demands that we or others put on ourselves. It's going to feel like it's compounding. It's going to feel like it's really overwhelming us. It's another way that our ego or subconscious is going to come in and try and derail us. Try and, stop us from growing, from experiencing, from finding the color. This card has no color. It's all pretty much almost black with a smidge of white. So it's going to be hard to find that light. It's going to be hard to find that color, that beauty, that joy. It's going to be the joy that's going to be hard to find because when we're in Mercury retrograde, we get into that pity party. Things are hard. How come? Woe is me. However, it's not all doom and gloom. The Ace of Wands. You want that pop of color? You want that burst of intensity, that burst of life? Well, it's well within your solar plexus and sacral chakras. This is all yellow and orange, guys. This is your creativity, your passion, your flair, your zhuzh. It's going to be important that we give ourselves permission, time, walking away from the pain, the burden, and not forgetting it, just giving yourself a little bit of time here and there goes a long way in rejuvenating you, finding that fulfillment, and then also stabilizing you. I like in this tarot that the Six of Cups is a tree with roots. And yes, the roots talks about, the tree of life and your family tree, and you've got all these very historical memories, that type thing. Well, we need to use that stability that we have created. We need to connect into it because the more stable we are, the more we're involved and enjoying that zhuzh, that flame, the more we're going to get out of the next 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks. It's up to us. It's our choice. Well, we need to make the choice accordingly. And yeah, I know it's easier said than done. And that's okay. Like I said, every challenge, when you start to meet it, greet it, and overcome it, it becomes easier. What is the biggest challenge that my friends are going to face during Mercury retrograde? Not that Mercury retrograde in itself is the biggest challenge. We have lots going on, right? And it's all connected. The Ace of Swords. I said it was important that we stay up here and use our frontal cortex. We need to think things through. Well, there's a fine line between thinking things through and becoming overcritical, getting caught up in that mind, getting caught up in the past, getting caught up in the future, those what ifs, those could haves, those what ifs. We need to be present. We need to keep that energy flowing with that passion, with that fulfillment, so that we're not, well, it's a balancing, right? So that we're not getting caught up and we're not missing those points, those ahas, because there's a lot of them. It will be very easy to turn the Ace of Swords from an obstacle to an ally by keeping that balance. We do have multiple ones there. So when you have that multiple one, the angels are telling you that the angels are telling you to use your abilities. Something amazing is coming forward. It's important that we use our tools and our abilities to our advantage. Very much think the magician, using those tools and your abilities to really create that wonder and that joy in your everyday. So one thing about obstacles, a lot of times you can, with some work, really bring them in to support you. This one, a little bit more of a hard time to bring it in to support you. This is the Five of Pentacles. We are going to feel very disconnected, very discombobulated, because that heartache and pain is raw. People interaction is going to really gouge those swords in deeper, bringing in a new wave of pain, a new wave of burden. Taking that deep breath, using the one thing that the Five of Pentacles can really support us with, and that's stability. That's grounding. The more grounded we are, so the more stable we feel, the more able we're able to use that frontal cortex. We're able to create solutions. We're able to go, ooh, they're reacting. I get it. It's Mercury Retrograde. And then turn it so that you can use those words, use that creativity to shift the energy, to shift the experience for you and them. Taking that high road. Again, easier said than done, I know. However, with practice, with perseverance, it will work. It's a tool that will work because you're staying in control of you, of your emotions, rather than letting that ego bite back and be reactive. The Sun or Knight of Cups. Well, let's be honest. Oh, I got a bug. I don't know about you guys. Okay, that's going to be just distracting. It's getting colder, so the bugs are coming in the house more. It's awesome. Okay, so the Sun of Cups, that Knight. We're not going to feel that passionate, that adolescent no fear energy where you're like, oh, yeah, no worries. I got this. It's actually going to be the opposite. That fear, that doubt, that energy level, we're just not going to feel it. It's going to be important that you take things slow, take care of you rather than overwhelming you with more. The stuff I'm suggesting is stuff that you should have at home, readily available, tools that you could totally just grab hold of and use, right? So if you're a crystal person, crystals that will be helpful, that are very easy and cheap to find. Or you should, if you're a crystal person, they're going to be ones you have. Amethyst to help keep you calm that brain, help you stay in here and using your intuition. This one might, not everybody has this one. This is labradorite. Very helpful with that trauma, with that pain release. And then it's also a protector. But any black crystal will work and do this. So tourmaline, black oxen, there's all sorts of them. Smoky quartz, again, help with that clarity and that calm. And then my favorite grounding crystal, of course, is tiger iron. If you're not a crystal person and you're like, I don't know what to do, how do I stay grounded? How do I stay in focus? Go into your cupboard and find the cinnamon, just the ground cinnamon. Most people have that in their spice cabinet or their little spice thingy, their spice organizer. You can put it in the coffee grounds. Before you make your coffee, you can just sprinkle some on top and it'll give that flavor. Nutmeg is another one. Any spice really will help with that stability and groundedness because it comes from usually bark, like what cinnamon does, or the leaves of a plant. So again, we've got that stability and groundedness. Same with the essential oils. You want that very earthy scent. There are tons of ways. Taking a few minutes and going for a walk in a park. Not only getting yourself out in fresh air, breathing, well, you're connecting in with nature. Giving yourself that opportunity to connect into the joy and beauty of the season. So it doesn't have to be a lot. And those days that we feel really heavy and you come home and you're just like, I can't deal with the kids, the dog, the partner, roommates, the whatever. Before you deal with anybody, go take a quick shower. And as you're stepping into the shower, ask any and all high vibrational beings to support you in dumping it. And then visualize dumping it. It will help get rid of some of that heaviness. And it's an easy thing to incorporate. So again, it doesn't have to be a lot of extra. Little things go a long way. And of course, if you do have a little bit of time, I do have a lot of meditations and healings that can support you. So if you're new to my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, I do give you the guidance and lots of supports to, well, get through some of the challenges. So like I said, meditations, I've got healings, I've got mindfulness playlists. You can go through what connects in. Next week, guys, I will be posting a healing on stability and groundedness because I know it's going to be a problem. So you guys will have that Tuesday morning to add in. I think it's like something like 14 minutes long with introduction and ending. So it's not like a big investment. Small bit goes a long way. All right. Let's see what else we can get for you guys. What further insight and guidance can we share with my friends so they can get the most out of Mercury Retrograde with the least amount of challenge? One thing I can say about the Wildland Tarot is that it's thin, so it doesn't slide as well as my other decks. The card themselves are really like thin, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to having a bit of a card that's it doesn't give as much, I guess. The Father of Cups, or the King of Cups. That stability, that emotional control is going to be vital. Checking in with you. Where are you at? What's going to help you? More importantly, making sure that you breathe. And my recommendation, drink a lot of water over the next 3 weeks. Up that intake so you are detoxing your system as you go. Because guys, we hold this body, mind, and soul. So we need to use a variety of techniques to really stay in control. Because it is easy, like I said, to get destabilized, ungrounded, and just kind of blah. And that's not fun. Yeah. Adding to our one collection, reminding you your abilities are there, guys. This is the Ace of Pentacles. Reminding you that color, it can be small and it can be hidden in plain sight. Taking that time, staying in the present, the here and now, and connecting in. So there are Obviously, a lot of things coming forward. We are in the season of abundance. The vegetables and fruit are coming in. We're starting to see that fall harvest come forward. Well, there is abundance and harvest in all aspects and realms of your life. So again, it's about being in control of you so you're able to embrace these different aspects as they come forward. And an important twist on that, as they come forward in whatever format they come in to you on. A lot of times we like to minimize stuff because it's not exactly what we want. It's not perfect. Perfection is not an ideal that is achievable. Not on all things, on all realms. We need to be mindful of that. We want to embrace it for what it is and how it's coming forward to you. Because it's important. That format, there's a reason for it. Yes, please. The Daughter of Cups. You guys getting a little bit of a pattern here? We've got Father, Daughter, and Son of Cups. Cups are about that emotion and intuition. So the Daughter brings in the play, the fun, the creativity, and flexibility. Creativity and flexibility, again, two aspects that are going to be very important. When we're starting to feel overwhelmed or we're starting to feel that heaviness and burden come in, giving yourself a little bit of time to get into that creative mind goes a long way in dumping that energy and opening yourself up to your intuition and that high vibration. Now, creativity does not mean arts and crafts. It can, if that's important to you. Creativity is how you express you in a meaningful way. I have clients who are computer programmers, so the clickety-clack of the keyboard is their creativity, which is fine. It's got to be meaningful for you. That flexibility, well, like I just said, that perfection, that ideal, it's usually unachievable, but it's expectations and demands that are placed on us or we place on ourselves that cause us a lot of problem. And they will really cause us a lot of problem during the next 3 weeks. The Three of Cups. Yes. Really reinforcing that need for that joy, that happiness, and that connection. A lot of times I have clients that want to burrow themselves during Mercury retrograde. They turtle up, they huddle up, they're like, come find me when it's over. Well, that's going to minimize what you're going to experience, what you're going to enjoy, that abundance, that happiness, the successes. Taking time and working with those family, those friends that are really important, and they're there for you. It's important that you reach out to them as well. Mercury retrograde is a global phenomenon. It will impact you and them. So making sure that you have that time with them. Have some fun. Laughter goes a long way in really reducing that heartache and pain. The Five of Swords. Reminding you guys that the biggest problem we're going to have is that internal chatter, that internal flux, the negative self-talk, the minimization, the defeatist attitude. We can and usually are our worst enemy. And what happens is when we're at a point of low internally, those around us reflect that energy back at us. So it makes us feel even worse. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy there. So be mindful of that. Like I said, it's going to be important to check in where you're at, because we already know we're going to feel disconnected. Where is it? Right there. We're already going to have that. We're already going to feel those challenges. So making sure that we take that time. connect in with our physical support team, connect into some creativity, to connect in with our intuitional and high vibrational supports. A little bit of time, like I said, goes a long way. Now, obviously, we do have the double fives there. We have this, the sword and the pentacle. Well, we have the multiple fives. The angels actually are telling you that something good and positive is coming forward. To stay true to your path and keep going. So we know that there is a lot of abundance. There's a lot of color to be had. And the reason I keep saying color is back in the summer, I started getting the wording, the fall will be colorful. I don't know really what that colorful is going to mean. I don't have a very clear understanding. And a lot of times it's more on an individual aspect. There will be challenges and we can miss that color, those experiences, that abundance, that flare, that zhuzh. Or we're going to have a lot of things happen that are going to clarify things, help us to see clearer. So it's going to be an individual aspect on how colorful impacts you. You know what's bad? And it's getting colder when my tea is getting cold. I've been talking for 26 minutes. I just poured this before I came in and it's cold. And colder. All right. What supports can we offer my friends so they can get the most out of Mercury Retrograde in the next 3 weeks? Because there's a lot happening in the next 3 weeks, right? We've got the fall equinox. We've got the entering into October. It's just lots of fun, right? And I'm really, really hoping, because I live in Canada, a lot of times we'll go from hot to snow. There's not a lot of fall. There's many times it's snowing and the leaves are still green and the weight of the snow pulls them down. It's sad. So I'm hoping that the color also means we get to see colorful leaves this year. Facade. We need to be very mindful of that barrier, that exterior that we have. It can be very easy, like I said, to turtle and try and protect ourselves. Well, that facade, that barrier, can minimize our experience. It's like looking outside through a window. You can see things, you might be able to hear a little bit, but you don't get the full experience. So stepping out into that backyard or whatever it is you're looking at is a totally different ballgame. You get the sight, the smell, the feel of what's around you. Not to mention, when we put up that facade, we're really starting to dig at the sword and the pentacle, those two fives, because we're giving that disconnect. We're putting a barrier up for people to see who we are and connect in on the physical and spiritual levels. So making sure that we're making the best steps forward in being that authentic self and trying to connect into those supports on a very meaningful and true manner. And guys, don't get me wrong, it's not an easy thing. And it's not something I want you to rip through. Just start to weaken it a bit. Because again, we don't want to bring up that pain, that fear, and give ourselves more work to do. A little bit will go a long way. Loosening that barrier, loosening that armor will help you breathe more freely and let people in a little bit more. Going with that facade, vanity. We want people to like us. We want people to see a certain type of person. And Mercury retrograde is going to really jolt that. It's going to really vibrate it because that true self, that soul self needs to come forward. And it's going to slowly but surely. especially since we have all these aces, these ones. They're going to be a stepping stone in helping you break free of some of that false that we had to put in. Now, yeah, I know we had, if we didn't put that facade up, we would have never made it through adolescence. We wouldn't make it through the hard parts. But now it's time to loosen it a bit. Don't try and take too much off too quick, because again, it will niggle that 3 of Swords and it's going to be painful. I do believe I said this word before. Perfection. That pursuit of perfection or expecting things to come in a certain way is going to be a stumble for many of us, because we're expecting things in a certain way. It has to be perfect or else it's not for me. Accepting things as they come forward in whatever format will help you to be able to see the beauty and wonder that's right here and right now. Things are going to be presented to you that may not be into your expectation. And that is the high vibration. And we've got a lot of cups here talking about that connection and need to use our intuition. We have a lot of support on that high vibration. The creator, the God, goddess, whatever you call that big divinity, the high vibrational beings, and our intuition. We, on a level, know what we need to do. We stopped listening to it because we were told it was crazy. We were told we were crazy or it was scary. So we shut down. And we were told that this perfection had to come forward. It had to be the perfect. You needed to be the perfect daughter, the perfect son. You needed to have the white picket fence. That perfection minimizes our experience. Dissipating. So basically, sitting behind that window I talked about, missing out. You rather watch than participate. We need to be an active participant. We need to be engaged in our life, because that disengagement is another way that we turtle ourselves, we cocoon ourselves. We bring up that facade and armor. And again, like I said, that's only going to minimize our experience. Minimize the shifts that we can do and achieve during Mercury retrograde, because there's a lot of them. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I know Mercury retrograde is not our favorite time of year. Unfortunately, we've got one more, as we are going to exit 2022 on Mercury retrograde. So, taking it one step at a time, checking in with you will go a long way in keeping you present and open to these experiences. If you like this session, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It helps people find me on the sea of YouTube. But more importantly for you, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little red bell, as I've got lots more healings, support, and guidance coming forward. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you want an extra layer of support, I do have a Patreon page. I've put a link below so you can get that extra layer of support that you're looking for. Again, I want to thank you so very much for joining me today. And until tomorrow, my friends.